Hi everyone, I'm Agnes, is your speaker today for Product School. Today I'm going to talk about what is a human touch in a global product and how might we find a common ground for diverse users in emerging market. I'm Agnes, a senior product manager in Spotify. Today we brought you some experience from my previous job to see how we can deliver a meaningful product for emerging market. So first, I will just show you the agenda. We will have the introduction of myself. Then we can talk about what is the universal need that can help us to build a fundamental product that people will love and fulfill their need and solve the problem. And then we'll also talk about a little bit more of research method that you can unveil in the local context. And last, there will be some localization strategy for growth. And also we'll talk about how can you make sure you have an app that can fit for the emerging market with limited resources. And the last one will be the conclusion for the section. Who am I? I'm Agnes. I'm product manager for Spotify right now. I'm a product and growth leader and specialize in the emerging market. I have launched and scaled the product across tech company and startup. For example, I am a product lead for Gojek, which is a super app in Indonesia, and I also head up growth in Skyscanner, which is the global meta search company. You can find the service all around the world. And also I led teams in Southeast Asia and East Asia to drive user growth and business performance. At the same time, I'm a hybrid growth and product manager with experience in market expansion, user growth, and experimentation. And lastly, I am strong at leveraging data and user insight to bring product from MVP to the full scale. So this is the challenge I will talk about today. So I know that internet is really fascinating right now to bring people all around the world together by using just like a camera, or you can just reach friends or family across the world in just a second. But however, this also brings us another challenge is how can we create a product that resonates with users across culture? That would be quite complicated for us to do it right now because a features that or a product that can use in the Western market might not be fit into the East market or emerging market. So this is the presentation want to explore the concept of human touch, which is a strategy that I use for designing a global product that can cater the unique needs of emerging market while still maintaining a constant product experience. So now we are at the time that world is becoming increasingly interconnected today. It's important to remember the user is not exactly all the same. They are all independent individuals. So people from different culture, they have unique needs, preference, and also way to interact with technology. For example, just a very, very simple example is a social media platform popular in North America might not be resonate well with the user in Asia who prefer a different form of communication. So understanding the cultural nuance is very important and crucial for designing product that can adopted and loved by the global audience. So that is like the story, that is the point I'm trying to convey. We should balance always the global standard and also fit the need of the local market. The next topic I'm going to talk about is how might we find the universal need of your product so that you can communicate your product value to the users all around the world. I know there is so many cultural differences around the world, but we can eventually find some fundamental human motivation that drive user behavior across the globe. So for example, you can always find these 4 different very distinct user need or motivation behind the user behavior wherever that which country or which region you are living. So for example, first thing that I can think of and always consider is connection. I think this is also the most powerful motivator around the world is the desire for connection. Users or people always want to connect with others, share experience, and build a relationship. So if your product kind of helping people to foster the relationship with each other, building community. Then like the chat functionality, social media integration, or online community will be super helpful for you to fulfill the universal need. And also fundamentally or deep down in our head, in our mind, we are the natural drive for progress, and also we love the sense of accomplishment. So that translates into features like gamification elements, reward system, or checking user achievement. Those are the tactics that you can use in your app, no matter what kind of country that you are in, or show the progress for the people across the world. And the third point I want to say is discovery. I think that will be we will inherently curious. I think humans are innately curious, with a lot of desire to learn and explore new things. So catering to this by offering curated content, personalized recommendation, and also features that encourage exploring within the app can encourage and also fulfill those fundamental user needs. So last but not least, I think self-expression is one thing that we identify as a universal need, which is the need of express ourselves. We want to express ourselves creatively or uniquely in a way that reflect our own personality or character. So this is something that we treated as a powerful motivator. So this desire or this universal user need can be addressed through the feature, for example, allow user to have personalization, avatar creation, or some user-generated content options. So I think the message I want to convey here is regardless which market or which country you are in, by understanding the fundamental or universal user need, you can always find the features that cater those user needs across the world. So by understanding this core motivation of human, you can have a good foundation of the product design that resonate the users with users on a fundamental level. So, and then on top of this fundamental, you can build localization elements on top of it. So the next thing I want to talk about is the user research. I think by understanding core human motivation is just the first step, and also really, really great starting point. But this is not enough. We cannot stop there. I always use quite a lot of user research to understand what is the user need of emerging market. So that is a free user research method I highly recommend everyone to try to do it before you build the product for emerging market. So the first one is in-depth interview. We always from the outside see the behavior of emerging market, but we never have a chance to understand why. So I think the in-depth interview with individual users can give us a deep dive into what is exactly their problem, why they have their problem, why they want these features. I think this is a very good way to gain user insights on an individual level, and also you will get a deep understanding on what is the motivation, what is the pain point, or what is the unique preference of them. But I think this is good for if you are building a new product that is not existing in the market before. Having this in-depth interview can give you more inspiration of how to build a product. And then the second user method that I recommend is focus group. So focus group is something that you can use in a group setting to explore what is the group dynamic and also the preference within the groups. It's very useful when you are designing a product for a group of users who have common behavior or common characteristics. For example, you are designing an app for a housewife target audience in Southeast Asia. That would be good for you to use a focus group, because at that time you will see how they interact with each other, what they care about in common, and how they communicate their needs within a group setting. So that would be super beneficial if you do the focus group after you have a good understanding of what kind of product you want to build, and trying to get more conviction among the users in a public way. And then the last methodology I would really recommend at the quite a late stage of product development is the user testing. So user testing usually we will use for observing user interaction with prototypes. That means they will interact with prototype with your guidance or without. So you will see naturally how they discover the features, how they consume the content, how they go back, which drive the content. So that is the way that we can identify a potential confusion or bugs or something is not making sense on our app. Then you can discover this kind of usability problem before you go into product development. So you will see this three type of user research is actually addressing different stage of product development and different kind of user problem. But all in all together, you will have a very good picture of what user really need and give a deeper insight of the product you're gonna build and like what kind of users will use your product. And the next one will be localization. I think localization is sometimes quite underestimated, or is something that's very, very powerful, but not many people talk about it. So localization, what I mean is a process of adapting a product to cater a specific need or a preference of a particular market. I think localization to me is actually go beyond the simply just translating the interface to the local language. I think there will be so many things behind just translating. So here is free strategy. I think that will be very good for you to do the localization for growth and tailor the user experience for the specific need in emerging market. So the first key localization strategy I want to talk about is language adaptation. So we need to really ensure a clear and culturally appropriate language throughout the product. That means you need to consider dialect, you need to consider slang or some humor that resonate with the target audience. Especially in the market like Indonesia, there is so many different language. Inside Indonesia, we need to make sure the product is actually tailor-made for those dialect or language that is not commonly used. So those are the things that will be adding a lot of value to the user experience. And then the second strategy I want to recommend is the feature tailoring. So how might we adapt the features based on the user pattern or usage pattern observed in the user research? For example, we see that when we have user research in Indonesia or Southeast Asia market, local artists is always very, very popular in that region. So we can observe that people tend to find the local artists in the region rather than a big star in the Western market. So I think this is a kind of really useful information for us to understand how they actually discover content or how they consume the music in general. So adapting this kind of user pattern in the features by recommending some local artists at the very beginning of the onboarding process can help us increase a lot of music consumption. And also on the other hand is if the user research reveal that there's a strong preference of offline music listening or offline content consumption, we need to consider offering an option to download songs or video or pay for payback without internet connection. So those are the things that we treat it as features tailoring to make sure we fit the patterns of those emerging markets. And the last localization strategy is culturally relevant design elements. It's a very long name, I know, but basically what we're saying that is we need to use visual, icon, and layout that resonate with the target culture and avoiding color or symbol that might have negative connotation in certain culture. For example, like the color red might be symbolized as good luck in Asia, but it's actually meaning some danger in some Western market. So I think like having these details and have default on each element that you will use on your product can help a lot for you. Can help a lot of your work to scale your product into different market. And the last thing I want to talk about is I really want everyone to consider the infrastructure challenge when you enter emerging market. So emerging market often have some limitation in infrastructure compared to other countries. So for example, they have slower internet speed, unstable internet supply. Also, the data cap might be is a common challenge for the users in emerging market. So when you design the product, you need to consider people actually operate their life or operate the app within this limitation. So I think I would recommend some of the strategy that you can have a more smooth experience for everyone. So for example, when you design your app, please consider a smaller version of app so that people can easily download to their phone and not taking up so many storage, because usually they will have less storage in their phone, and they don't usually buy a cloud storage from Apple. They usually use Android. So offering a reduced size app can use less data. So people also can prioritize the essential features and increase the chance that they keep your app in the phone for a longer period. So I think in general, having this in mind can ensure the core functionality are accessible even with the limited bandwidth. The second features or infrastructure you might want to consider when you're entering to emerging market is the offline functionalities. Offline functionality seems like not so important in Western countries because Wi-Fi is everywhere, the data is cheap, and also like you always have access to internet. But I think in the emerging market, that is not the case. So allow users to use the core functionality even without an internet connection will be very important and extra value to the users. Those involve features like downloading content offline use or enable basic functionality in the offline mode, or even you have a strong features for caching the content before they accidentally go offline. Those are the features that can extend the usage of the app and also extend the value that they can enjoy in their daily life. And the last one is they usually have less advanced model on their phone. So please consider the version or the technology you will use for your latest app build. It will be very important to keep that in mind. Is usually they don't have a very advanced model, a very updated version in their phone. So always consider to adapt all the version or all the model for the emerging market. So I think in general, by considering this limitation and implement appropriate strategy, we can for sure to make sure the user in emerging market can simply enjoy a very positive experience with the product that you build, regardless what is the infrastructure they have. So I think in conclusion, I think that it will be super important to understand the core motivation first. You can build your framework on your own, but focus on the fundamental human needs like collection, progress, and discovery will be required, or the self-expression will be quite important for you to build the common foundation with the user and let user resonate to your product more. And also always remember to conduct user research before you go into the market. Either it's in-depth interview so that you can deep dive into individual user need, or a focus group where you can observe a group dynamic and how they communicate or consume the content in the group setting. Or some usability testing way before you develop your product can help you save quite a lot of time and also uncover the specific need, preference, and also cultural nuance of your target audience in emerging market. And then lastly is don't underestimate localization. Localization will be a very, very powerful tool for you to drive growth in emerging markets, especially for the product is heavily rely on communication or a language learning app. So leveraging localization strategy can help you to tailor the user experience through language adaptation, feature tailoring, and also building some social culture and socially relevant design elements for the emerging market. So all in all, I think that would be very important for us to remember a successful global product isn't simply just translated, but thoughtfully adapting those unique user needs and cultural content for each market without neglecting the global standards. I think by taking the time to understand your users and building your product in a human touch, you can create something truly meaningful and also resonate with the global audience. I think that will be all for my presentation today. So really grateful that you spent the time with me today. That would be kind of a really short section to just simply talk about what I have been through when I launching a global product in an emerging market. So feel free to hit me up in LinkedIn or other social media platform to exchange the food for thought. And also would love to hear your feedback for this section. Thank you so much.